Good evening, everyone. And tonight, Saturday night, as a preparation for the night, one very useful ability to develop is to habit actually, and of course, you need to have a certain skill to do that. This habit to declutter the mind. Not to go to sleep and to close the day. It is very useful to have this ability to quiet the mind, to come back to essence, to come back to basics, as was partly the topic of yesterday's meditation. And so there is this habit that one has collected over time for whatever reason, is to hold things in our mind and to hold things in our consciousness. And that affects the quality of our sleep, and that affects the way we wind down in the evening. And what we hold in our mind is very closely related to our actions and the quality of our actions and the quality of our respond to things. And so, what happens in the evening is our active uh, hold on our conscious and subconscious, it relaxes. And so, what is in the subconscious easily manifests in our dreams, and also when we start relaxing or having to wind down. So it is good to during the day pay attention to what you hold in the mind, what quality of thoughts you have, and what the quality of your actions are and your interactions, because that is what gets stored and that comes up again at night and during sleep. And so preparing the for our sleep, um, it is also very essential to use this power to let go. And to let go actually means in your mind you say, this is not important now, or this is not important at all for me to hold on to. This is not important for me to create thoughts about again and again and again and think about how I acted or how the interaction was or how this situation was. There are higher things and there are other things that are more important. And in meditation, to just come back to essence of who we are. And from the spiritual perspective, anything that is perishable, anything that is not lasting, we shouldn't hold in our mind, and be more focused on that what is imperishable, that what is subtle, and that what is invisible. So let us explore in meditation and create this mind that lets go of what is not imperishable, that can let go of what is temporary and in the long run of not of any importance. And so as always, let us take a few moments to just become fully aware in a natural way that we exist as beings of consciousness, and we can use the image of a tiny star, a living light, who operates from the center of the forehead just to help ourselves give it a focus. Anything physical, anything that is perceived through the sense organs, let us just hold that awareness that it is not imperishable, that it is all temporary, and that it can all finish anytime. And anything that is changing, anything that can end, we shouldn't hold it in our mind and fuss about it and worry about it and continue repeatedly to think about it. The real self is this subtle, invisible, spiritual, timeless, pure, peaceful, living light. A being who is free. A being who plays a part through a body in this big game called human life. So we play the game, but when it closes, we don't keep going back to it again and again in our mind. Come back to essence, true self, timeless, peaceful, free, living, conscious, spiritual being. One who is a guest in this body, a visitor on this planet. One who comes from another dimension, a dimension of silence and endless light. And just hold this awareness of the innate nature of the self as a being of peace, as a being who is free. And what clutters the mind is when consciousness moves into identifying with things that are perishable, with the body, for example, or with a part, or with a job, or with another person. That identification, that ego, that attachment, that creates the clutter of thoughts and complicated feelings in the mind. Just to realize that the essence, the true self, is this immortal, higher being of consciousness, innately godlike in nature, pure, free, timeless, living light. To hold that awareness, and also to hold that awareness of spiritual identity whilst going about everyday activity, that helps to keep the mind clean and to store in the subconscious only healthy, clean impressions. So for the rest of the evening and throughout the night, let us aim to hold this awareness of the true self, this imperishable, timeless, being of consciousness, like a tiny star, living light, one who is a guest in this body. Let us reflect on these timeless spiritual truths and not allow the ego or some attachments clutter the mind, and allow the feelings and the higher emotions related to this soul conscious awareness fill your mind. Thank you and good night.